Hey everybody, I think I'm getting this to work. Bear with me as I try to figure out all the ins and outs of this. I'm trying some new technology and hey
On my live,
everybody, I think I'm getting this to work.
if you were
Bear
on my
with
live
me as I try to
yesterday,
figure out all the ins and outs of this. I'm trying some new technology and hey
on my live,
everybody, I think I'm getting this to work.
if you were
Bear
on my
with
live
me as I try to
yesterday,
figure out all the ins and outs of this. I'm trying some new technology and hey
on my live,
everybody, I think I'm getting this to work.
if you were
Bear
on my
with
live
me as I try
yesterday,
to figure out all the ins and outs of this. I'm trying some new technology and hey
on my live,
everybody, I think I'm getting this to work.
if you
Okay. I think I got it now. Oh man, this is all about being imperfectly perfect, right? So for those of you that are joining me, thank you for joining me on the live and on the replay. This is a figure out technology live and on the fly. That's what we do here at Get Shit Done, and it can be embarrassing and it can fall apart really quickly. But I think I got it now, so hopefully you can see me. I can't. Oh, Bobby, hi. Good. I can see comments too. Yay! This is working. Okay, I think I got it figured out now. So welcome if you're joining me live. Thank you for joining me on the replay. Please don't mind the intro to this video. We are testing out new technology live and on the fly, so whatever happens, happens. That's what happens when you run an online business and you just never quite know what might show up or what might happen. So apologize for that. So for those of you who don't know me, my name is Cindy. I'm the Get Shit Done girl, and I help online solopreneurs interpret and heal functional chaos by establishing simple foundational practices to support sustainable growth and freedom. So many times I see solopreneurs that are so overwhelmed and stressed out and have so many things that they need to get done that they never get any of it done. And they're burning the candle at both ends. They're not having a very good time with their family and loved ones because they're too busy thinking about their business. They're maybe not making as much money as they'd like to. There's so many different factors that come into it. And so I help establish these simple systems that allow you to have more freedom, have more time with your family, have a bigger impact, and increase your income. So today I am going through the flexible business planning for solopreneurs, and this is a series of videos that I've been doing. Today we're talking about how I plan out content. So this is really exciting for me. I've shared it with several of my clients before, and they really love it. It works really well for them, and it's very streamlined. So I'm just gonna bring up my handy dandy Trello board like usual, and so right here we've got the content planning board. So as if many of you have seen that I have all these different boards. So with my content plan, I create a weekly blog post, a weekly newsletter that goes out to links to that blog post, and then I do 3 Facebook Lives per week. I also do a few little tricks on Facebook, but that's pretty much all I do for content right now, other than developing courses. So that's a little bit of a different beast. But what I'm going to show you is how I plan out my blog post, my newsletter, and my 3 Facebook Lives week after week after week. And I've got content actually planned out for the next 2 months in advance. So that's super handy when it comes down to it, because who has time to plan out content week after week after week? So my blog post first. So first of all, I have this handy little spreadsheet that's attached to Trello. So if we open it up here, it brings up a template that I've got. Now, mine is obviously filled out with all my blog topics, but this was a tool that I got from a coach that I hired for creating blog post content. And basically what you do is right here is the questions. So here's where you would think of examples. So if you think of questions that your clients always ask you, language that your client always uses with you, questions that you always ask your clients, and language that you use with your clients. And then another little one that she came up with was, if you come up with the top 10 things that involve your business. So for me, it was the 10 commandments of getting shit done, which became a blog series. And so basically, when I was done brainstorming with her, this section of this column of the spreadsheet was filled up to like over 100 and some topics. So that 100 and some topics is 100 and some blog posts, right? But this is where it gets really exciting. So across the top here, we've got how to, entertainment, personal, cheat sheet, newsjacking, and list. So these are different types of blog posts that you can create. So a how to blog post is pretty self-explanatory. So I've used this example as canned responses. So canned responses are when somebody emails you, it's an automatic response that goes back to them before you actually send a manual reply. So this canned response, a how-to blog post would be, why you'd want to use them and how to use them. An entertaining post might be something like how to waste an hour of your day every single day using canned responses. I don't know. I'm just joking around here and making shit up, but a personal blog post may be a case study of either you or a client of yours who that uses canned responses in a really clever way or something like that. The cheat sheet is literally like a checklist, or it could be a PDF with a system on how to do canned responses, something like that. Or maybe a list of different canned responses that you can use. Newsjacking, and I love to pick on Trump, so maybe Trump did something silly in Twitter and he's got some canned responses set up in Twitter. I don't know if that's even possible. And then the list would obviously just be, 10 reasons why canned responses are your new best friend. So that gives you an example of what those blog types are like. So what you do is when you've got all these 100 different blog post topics, is you just start expanding across. And so you can come up with like 600 and some different blog posts. So that plans out your blogs for years, right? So this is just a brainstorming tool that you can use. And what I did for my first blog post series was I highlighted those top 10 commandments, and that became my first series of blog posts. So I dropped it here into Trello. So in Trello, I've got a 10 commandments of getting shit done, and as you can see, I've already done the first 4. So those blog posts have gone out, been published, and are ready to go. So next week I'll be doing something about investing in yourself, time, money, and energy into your business. So that's the 5th commandment. So there is all my topics for that full 10 weeks. It's actually 11 weeks. I have a bonus in there, secret. So that is how I plan out my blog posts. Once that's done, then I move over to Facebook Lives. So I do Tactical Tuesdays, Thinking Thursdays, and Foundational Fridays. So if I open Tactical Tuesdays, as you can see, I have a 9-week series going. And if I open up Thursdays, as you can see, I've got that 11-week 10 Commandments of Getting Shit Done series. So I've repurposed some content here, and see how this blog post now becomes a Facebook Live. Oh, good, Bobby, I'm glad. Yes, yeah, it's a good spreadsheet, isn't it? But it's very, very big, so it's kind of like piecework. If you schedule it like a half hour to an hour at a time and just do pieces of it, that would probably help. So as you can see, I've got my 10 commandments of getting shit done here. And then on Fridays, as you know, I am doing the flexible business planning for solopreneurs. So it's an 8-week series, and today we're on the content plan. So I've got content up until the end of February at least, and in some series up until the end of March. So it's super streamlined and it makes my life so much easier. So then I've got this spreadsheet attached to each Trello card. And when we open this one, here's all my Facebook Live content. So what I'm doing is actually scheduling these Facebook Lives. And so I can create the description, the hashtags, the title of the video, different tags, the time, and when it's done, I go over here and say it's done. So then I've checked it off. So I've got Tactical Tuesdays, Thinking Thursdays, Foundational Fridays. And as you can see, all of my content, oh, I'm missing a few, but most of my content is actually planned out for that whole series. So I don't even have to think about content until what, March 22nd. That's pretty cool. So those are my Facebook Lives. Once those are done, I don't have to think about them. So when I do my CEO date on Mondays, what I do is I plan all this stuff out. So then when I get to content creation day, which is on Wednesdays, I can just sit down and create. I don't have to think about what I need to write. I don't have to think about titles or headlines. I've already got that all planned out. And now it's time to just sit down, blinders on, and create that content. And I can usually knock out 2 or 3 blog posts in a morning session. I can write my content for my Facebook Lives in a morning session. Not that I really have a lot of content for a Facebook Live. I usually just wing it. I have a plan in place and then I just go for it. So then I have this content planning board. And as you can see, these cards are all the same. So I'll just go through what I've done this week so you can see. So I've got my 3 Facebook Lives and I've listed out the topic of that live. I've got my blog post and I've listed the topic. And I create a Facebook page note, which is a totally separate thing. Bobby, you know all about that. I create that on Fridays. My newsletter is literally just a short little blurb that links to my blog post. Who reads email anymore? So I just keep it short, sweet, and to the point, and just knock it over to my blog post. If people want to read, they can, and if they don't, they can just delete the email. And then my promotion plan, I promote my Facebook Lives quite regularly. I do have a social media strategy that I use that takes me 30 minutes per day, 5 days per week. And I also share the blog post on Facebook on Mondays. So I'm doing it in a couple different ways. I share it as a Facebook note and I share it as a blog post because that just allows me to repurpose just a little bit more and get my content out there in different formats. So I literally every week just copy this card, change the date on it, and then as you can see, I've done that here. So next week is all mapped out, and all I'll do is just change the topics on each one, change the topic of the blog post. That one stays the same, that stays the same, this all stays the same. So it's pretty streamlined, and then you just change the due date on it. Golden rule of Trello, make sure you add yourself as a member and add yourself a due date. That way you'll get notifications on it. And you can also do this handy little trick up here and click on your profile, click cards, and anything that's, you want to make sure you're sorting by board and sorting cards from all boards. Oops, no, sorry. You want to be sorting by due date, sorry. And then anything that you've created as yourself as a member and has a due date on it will show up here. So as you can see, I can look for weeks in advance on what's coming up. It's pretty nifty. You can just do this on a calendar view, but I really like this because it's got due dates on it and it works well for me. So that is it for that. Let me see if I can get this Facebook Live to work. Bobby, can you see my face right now? I'm just curious if this is working, if you're still on here. Um, So yeah, that is the content planning. That's how I plan out all of my content every week, week after week. Usually what I do is I try to plan in advance. Now that I've got that 10 weeks in advance, what I do is try to keep that advancement ahead of it. So what I'll do is, oh, awesome, Bobby, thank you. This is really weird. I've got like a massive delay, so I can't watch myself. It's really funny. So what I do is, now that I've got till the end of March planned out, every Monday on my CEO date, I'll plan just a little bit further ahead. So I'll brainstorm some ideas on the next series. I really like to do series because that keeps people coming back. It creates a bit of a system. It creates some consistency and people want to hear the whole series, right? So they'll come back and watch. So that works really well for me. So I hope that was helpful. I did go through that pretty quick, and with technology being as it is, I do believe I have it figured out now. So hopefully next week on my Tactical Tuesdays, this will be a little bit more streamlined. Have a wonderful day, everyone. Have a great weekend, and I'll see you next week on Tuesday for Tactical Tuesdays, same time, same place. Have a great day. Bye-bye.